Hey, this is Randy, the news guy. Thanks for joining me. Today, we are talking again about what to do with your press releases after they've been released. And if you look back through our channel, I've released a few other videos to give you a few different other suggestions. And I'm just going to kind of continue along this line and give you a couple of more suggestions on what to do with your press release links after you have your report. So let me share my screen. There we go. Boom. I love that. So here we go. We've got a little presentation that I had done a while ago, but just to pull this up. So here you go. You've got what you can do with your PR. So you have your press release article, then you get your report. And I've showed you in the past, like what those links look like, the link report. And then you can drop all of those links, put them into a Google Doc, make all the links active. You can put them into a Google Sheet, making all of those links active. You can then publish these so that they're public and that they're going to get crawled and indexed, which is wonderful news, is what you want to try to do and push some juice to these things, right? So that's all good. So that's kind of a starting premise. Then what can you do after you have these things kind of lined up that way? Well, let me go down. Now, let me throw this back into here. What you can do is something like this. Utilize, right? So here we are, boom, the links, Doc or Google Sheet, whichever you prefer, and then drop them into a Google entity stack. Now, sometimes people are like, what's a Google entity stack? What does that mean? Well, essentially, we are utilizing Google and Google properties to maximize the power of our press release links. So we're using all of these different Google properties, like a Google public folder, Google Sheet, we talked about, using Google Forms or presentation, a Google Doc, PDF, Draw, Blogger, Google Site, right? Google Communities, which is really probably we'll need to do just a video just on Google Communities as a whole to be able to what you can do to leverage Google Communities. But we're essentially using all of these Google entities and then building some interconnectivity of those Google entities, meaning that we've got them in our Google Drive, in our Google folder, and we're interconnecting, right? The Google Forms with the Google Docs, and we're putting all of these things into a Google presentation and showing how these things all look and come together. But what you can do is, say you take your Google site, you build it out appropriately, and you've got your press release links in a presentation slide or across several slides. You have them in a PDF and drop them into a Google PDF. You put them in Google Draw, maybe Google Calendar. So you can drop them into all different kinds of things. And then you can begin to embed or iframe your Google press release report, or not your Google press release, but your press release report. Iframe it into your Google site. So it gives you all of this juice that's pointing to, and an iframe is really a great way to do this, but your Google property is kind of powering up then all of those links within your report. It's a great way to have Google essentially be tier 2, tier 3 for your tier 1 links, which are your news site links. So Google entity drives, love these things. We use them quite a bit. I'm not going to show you exactly what we do here, but we have multiple of these that we use to power up our press release reports. And this is just kind of an example. We're showing here, we're like, hey, here it is. We've embedded it into our Google site. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do something like that. Another thing that you can do, boom, use cloud sites and stacks of cloud sites. So similar as the Google entity stack, you've got your article, you have your PR report, you can drop them into a sheet or a Google Doc, and then build out the cloud stacks now, or cloud sites. So again, same principle, but a cloud site is something like maybe Microsoft Azure or Amazon AWS sites or Bunny. Those are all different kinds of cloud sites. Build a site on those cloud sites, and these are HTML sites. And then within that, you can iframe then your press release report, or if you're an agency, you can utilize these properties and do these for all of your clients. So, as an example, we built out several cloud stacks. I'll get into what a stack is here in a second, but specifically just as we would a news site. And then we embed an iframe press release reports right into these various cloud sites. Great thing about these cloud sites is soon as immediately once you create them, these things have like a DA of something like 50 to 60, depending upon the site, right out of the bat. So they are helping to power up a really nice tier 2 link for all of your press release links. It's a great way to power up your press release links. Now, I've talked about stacks, and so I'm going to pop out of here and say, like, okay, well, what does that mean? What do you mean a cloud stack? And I've got this diagram here, but I'm going to pull it up a little bit larger for you. So a cloud stack would be where we're taking one cloud site, we've built it up, and then we're building up several other cloud sites. So as I mentioned, maybe this is the Microsoft Azure, here's AWS, here's Bunny, here's whatever these other cloud sites. We use, I think, like about 14 or 15 different cloud properties in order to build out our stacks. They're all interconnected with one another. So this one's powering up Juice and juicing up this one and on to the next and such kind of. This is one of our favorite configurations. And it is all then, and maybe just on this one is what I have as our news site, cloud site that we're placing our PR articles on. Now, another variation of this would be you could build these things out as the news sites and then having one link going out to your public folder where you may have your Google entity stack. So you're powering those things up with your cloud stack. So a lot of different variations that you can do with this. We tend to just probably set up a news site that's a cloud site, and then we fire it up with all of these others in this configuration as a stack. The whole idea around building out these different links and link variations is because you want to power up your news site links just as you would any other tier 1 link. And the reason for that is, here's the big benefit, is as you fire up those tier 1 links or your news site links, you're sending a signal to those news sites that this article has got some power to it. It's got some activity. It's getting some engagement. Other sources are linking to it. And what that enables the news site to do is to say, hey, instead of dropping this article after 6 months, let's go ahead and extend the life cycle of. And generally what I found, instead of them saying like, hey, we're going to extend it 3 months, they just essentially flip the flag over and say, well, let's do it another 6 months. I think they really kind of, whatever the news site's kind of life cycle of an article is, they'll just double it, add it over again. And again, we have news sites, press release articles that are going on past 4 years in age at this point because we do some of this kind of activity around these things. So it's a great way to keep those news site articles up, live, and active, and to really extend the life of these things. Yeah, there we go. So those are a couple of things: Google Entity Stacks and Cloud Stacks in order to fire up your press release links. If you have any questions, feel free. There are links in the description below that we've got a free ebook you can download. Also, if you'd like to just chat with me about your next press release project, there is a link in the description where you can get under our calendar, and we'll spend 15 minutes and just kind of talk about what we can do to help you out. And again, thanks for joining me, Randy the News Guy. Love it if you would like and subscribe, get notified on our next video. And until next time, keep publishing the good news.